uh, whatever we're going to call it. We're actually going to figure out on this episode what to call it. So, yeah.
Cheers
So
to
I'm
that.
also drinking. Oh, cheers. Yeah, I'm drinking. Oh, that's what we do on the other show. The drinking about. Tell us what we're drinking about. But anyway, I'm drinking hibiscus tea. I found
Oh,
you can just buy the leaves and make it. Whereas when you go to a Mexican restaurant here, you have Jamaica, and it's really good and yummy and sugary. But this is sort of without the sugar, so it's a nice little bite. I make it hot and put it in the fridge. Or what are you drinking? Just coffee?
yeah, I'm having a cheap 3-in-1 coffee right now because
Ah,
it's very early here,
cool.
like
That's
5,
instant.
5, 5 a.m. Yeah, I mean, I hate that stuff, but I
Yeah,
don't
in
have
China
anything
it's hard to
better.
get. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, also, yeah. Also, I guess you don't want to wake up your family with making coffee. Is that part of it?
I think I would be able to do it without waking them up if I want. I just didn't pay attention and didn't order beans.
Oh.
Actually, I have like a hand grinder and then I
Oh.
pour over and things like that. But you must order beans on time. That's important if you want to have coffee.
Yeah, I used to do that. I had the little. I got it from Taobao, and but it was too much. So I would switch to instant. But now I've got the Keurig, um, which is I feel cheating every time I wake up in the morning and and drink it. But oh well. Cool. Okay, so today, the main sort of subject of the episode is talking about what we want to name the the podcast or
Mm.
video cast. And I do want to say that I would also like to edit down, hopefully minimally edit into a podcast. So people may be listening to us without seeing us. Um, I don't know how that is going
Yeah.
to work, but we'll figure it out on the way. Um, yeah. So we had, so we both came up with ideas. I came up with 10. Henk came up with 15, right, Henk?
That's true.
I'm speaking like in third person. I assume like to an audience. I noticed. um, so we got to figure out the voice of it. I sent it. So I do a mastermind group every Friday. We are you familiar with Mastermind?
Yep.
Yeah. So I sent my group the and they give me their opinions. So let me see. They're not really techies, so they're uh, I would say sort of limited influence, but I think I'd wanted to bring it up anyway just to see what they had to say. Okay, so they liked anything with hacker in it because I thought hacker was cool. One person liked everyone's hacker space, hacker heaven, or hacker hell. Although she was confused as to why it was hackers heaven and not hackers hell, or both hacker heaven, hacker hell. Our hacker community. And then
But I
she
think
also
we
was
got
like,
we got hacker in just about every
yeah.
like 20 out of 25 have the word hacker inside.
Yeah, I think we should have hacker in the title, just because
I agree.
that's exactly what. So I was thinking for a bit that I just basically wanted it to be a hacker space. Like literally, we have a hacker space and it exists. We're sort of, I don't want to say manifesting because that's like woo-woo, but we're creating this hacker space just by being here and talking. And so I think last time we were talking about virtual hackerspace, and you said you don't like the word virtual because it's actually a real thing, right? It's not virtual. So that's why I was thinking things like variable capacitor, or because a lot of hackerspaces are named after a component, like a noise bridge and what was it, head, steam head and stuff like that. But
Steamhead is in my opinion is after
well,
STEM and STEAM education.
yeah, it's more of a Steam maker space, I would say. Maker, but it's also not just a space, it's a community, and I guess in a way sort of a product, like a couple of, I mean, basically a husband and wife team, and they've got a space and they make STEAM happen in schools, right?
Yeah. And I think it's a great name, like Steamhead. It's like, first of all, like you're hot, you're on Steam, but on the other side, it's like you're using your head to do STEM or STEAM education, to learn. So I think it's a great name.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think? Did you have a favorite?
From the non-STEAmies, I started to love Rhizome.
Okay.
And in all honesty, I had to look that word up. Like, I mean, English is not my native language, and
right.
it just like in my 55 years, this just never came across my path. So I had to look it up, and I started to love the word. We even had some discussion about it in our own WeChat group.
Oh.
It seems to be a project what my co-founder did in for his examination. So it was a loved topic with people in our community.
Yeah. So there's a postmodern concept that we are all pleasure-seeking machines. And so, like, a machine is anything that has inputs and outputs and connects to another thing. So that's basically everything in the world, right? So like your human body has inputs. That's why it was a rhizome connector machine. So like an input for a human would be, food and water and air, and output is, poop and ideas, or like a political system. The input might be like money and people or whatever, and the output's power and governance. Or so like any concept, anything in the world is, if it has sentience, it's a pleasure-seeking machine. And even if it doesn't have sentience, it sort of has an intelligence and is a machine. And Rhizome is sort of put this sort of new way of thinking in postmodernism, where things aren't connected like a tree, like in sort of classic philosophy. Right. You have like your view of the world, and how, like, Plato has this like perfect world, and then all the ideas move like a tree from that. So there's this one idea at the core, whereas postmodernism is like there is no core idea. It just branches in every direction, and as it gets more nutrients this way, it sort of branches that way. And like a piece of ginger is a rhizome, or a potato is a rhizome. So that's how I was thinking, because I just sort of recently got back into reviewing postmodernism, so that's why that that the thing came up. And it's kind of what I want out of this podcast, is to connect to other people and to see where it goes.
I still say, even so, I love the word. I think it should be like a subtitle or like a slogan.
I'm not necessarily married to the name, but I am married to the idea. Right.
The point is, like, I mean, in a name, like, people should recognize what you do or what it is without thinking. Otherwise, they're just not going to listen.
Yeah, especially since it's a show. It's not like a, well, yeah. I also like the idea of the community. The fireplace might be a little too, like we had a hacker fireplace, which I like the idea, but I don't like that name. But I like the connotation that we're all sitting around a fire. But it's also kind of cheesy because you go to a conference and there's the fireside chats. So I was thinking it was that kind of thing, but I don't know. What my favorite so far is a hacker called ...
Yeah, so I that was the last one actually, but the thing what I like about the title A Hacker Called ... is that you can interpret it in multiple ways. So I mean, it could be a hacker called Tori, and then like you are at the start of the show, but it could also be like a hacker named or like how you say it, like calling someone. So a hacker called a doctor and asked ... So called can be used in two different ways, and because we're doing a show and we're sometimes calling people,
I didn't get that second thing of actually calling.
No, you got me for that.
I like it. Also, because I do that show Drinking About is Drinking About ... And so right now we're doing Drinking About Sex, but we've done Drinking About Politics and Drinking About Conspiracies, and we may eventually do Drinking About something. Hacker called. And so, yeah. Like the URL might be a hackercalled.com. Yeah, I don't know. Calling all hackers?
That is, again, I think a little bit cheesy.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of, yeah. I mean, is there a HackerCast already? Because that's kind of obvious. HackerCast. Let me see. Oh, I wanted to experiment with a technology called Giggle that I just heard about. It's essentially it's an app built so that romantic couples can watch movies together online, but as the side effect, it has a thing where two people can browse the internet together. Do you want to try that? And we can sort of, because I was just going to look up if there's a HackerCast. And we can kind of.
So should I also?
Yeah. So I think so. This would be the first time using it. Let me do a screen recording so I can add it to the thing. Let's see. I guess I can do QuickTime. What do I use to screencast? Oh, can I do screencast on Skype?
Yeah, share screen in the right bottom.
Okay, and it'll record it?
Yeah, because that's what we did 2 years ago when we did the the accelerator cohort.
Oh, you can only share one. Oh, hold on. I can only share the whole screen. Well, that should be okay. I have to allow Skype to record. Oh, okay. I'd have to restart. Oh, no. Oh, it's still letting me do it even though I didn't restart. Okay. We're going to share a window. Okay. Okay, cool. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so it might be a little small. Maybe I can make it a little bigger. Okay, so I'm going to do a new portal, and we'll just keep it private. And now I share this link with you over here in WeChat. Nope, that's not the.
You should be able to share it in the Skype chat.
Yeah, but I can actually give you control. So it's kind of a cool little technology where you can do it together. Start call. Okay. No, that's probably not what I want. Oh, right. Okay, here we go. Let me end that call. And I can invite. Okay. Nope. Copy. All right, so let me put this in here and let's see how this technology works. And we can sort of search together.
Yeah, but if you copy that in the Skype chat, I don't have my WeChat.
Oh no, I just put it in WeChat.
I know, but I have that only. I mean, at this moment, I only have it on my phone because I try to run less programs on my computer when we call.
That is smart. Okay, can I put it in the chat on Skype? Okay, there, I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's see how this thing works.
Then
opens with Google, which is Cast. Oh, the cast of Hacker.
Oh, of course, there's also that kind of cast.
Yeah, let's say maybe Hacker Podcast. There's got to be some. I just feel like Hacker Cast might be so obvious that maybe we should do it if there isn't one.
If there isn't one, yes.
Personality Hacker Past Darkness, the Hacker Mind Hackers Podcast.
We used to have a knife maker at our hackerspace, and he would be
cool.
he would be casting knives. So he was actually a hacker, a knife caster.
So is this doing anything? I can give control to you. Oh, I guess only.
Awaiting endpoint. Allow.
Okay. It's kind of cute. Your little cat. Guest Henk. So this is the show where we experiment with technology and bore the audience. Health Hacker, Cyberwire. I mean, I think we might want to just call it HackerCast or Hackerspace Cat. I don't know. That's the other thing is I don't want people necessarily thinking that we're cyber criminals. But at the same time, it's kind of okay if it gets them to see our show, if they think, oh, I'm going to find out about hackers, but they might leave if they're expecting like cybersecurity professionals or something. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, my main idea is it's a space that we can it's like what you were talking about, the community part of a hackerspace.
Yeah, I had names like Hacker Homies, but
yeah,
I'm not sure if
hackerspace.
Don't we have a community who we can ask? I mean, I can send out an email to the list of troublemaker. See if people have an opinion.
Okay.
But if we put in 25 options, I'm sure we're going to get nothing.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. So what I'm having trouble with is I think it should be hacker space, because without the space, I feel like it becomes a show about cybersecurity. And I don't think we're about that, although we may cover that in one episode or something like that. I don't know.
If we have the hacker internet space, then the acronym is HIS. But but I also want to have a hers, so need to think about
right. Hackers Earth really special. I don't know. Well, I didn't expect this to be so much dead air. But
the thing is, like this Giggle thing is still loading after whatever.
Okay. All right, we'll stop that.
It's still buffering, and maybe it's because we're on a call already.
Yeah. All right. We'll not do that. We'll call it a failed experiment. Boom. Okay. So we're obviously not going to be sponsored by Giggle. Cool idea. But cool. Oh, stop sharing. Okay. Okay. I don't know.
And nobody said like any positive comments on the happy variants of hacking. So I hacked happily, or happy hackers, or hackiness.
Yeah, that does seem a bit. I mean, I kind of like happy hackers, but I don't know. It does seem, of the cheesy ones, I don't know. Hilarious hackers. The hack. A place. Hacker space. The hacker place. Hacker space. Oh, man, this is tough. I have like a list of 100 different band names. I think more. But I don't have a list. I don't know. I can usually come up with, I think maybe because I care about this too much, that it's hard to come up with a good name.
How about Hacker Maze?
Hacker Maze? Yeah. I mean, of the ones we have so far, my favorite is a hacker called. Could just.
I still also think I like that still most of all of that.
Yeah.
I personally don't really like the things where like it's just an electronic component name, even though a lot of hacker spaces are called that way. I don't think it communicates anything about what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think like a hacker called at least gives people it gives you subconscious something like you expect more, because it's not only the 3 dots behind it, but even if you leave the 3 dots behind, you notice the sentence isn't finished. So if you're someone who's actually a little, like a lot of people will read over that. I mean, people maybe don't have time, but the ones that are a little bit consciously reading, like a hacker called, they know that's not finished, so they're going to be busy with it. And I like the fact that people are going to be busy because that's what a hackerspace is about. I mean, you want to engage people to be busy with something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like where you're going with that. It's so you're saying it's sort of unfinished, or sort of like leads you. It's like begging a question in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might also invite people to answer, even if we don't ask a question.
Yeah.
I mean, they might come up spontaneously with suggestions or with questions, and questions are great as well.
Well, what about what is a hacker? Like that's the term. What is a hacker? Or are you a hacker? Or are we hackers? That's a little more direct. Like that's the question. We
Yeah,
are
but
all hackers. I don't know.
well, and that's the thing. Like, if you think about hackers, it's like maybe I'm generalizing here, but like everybody wants to be a hacker. So I mean, like
Yeah.
you don't ask, are we hackers? Right? I mean, like it is like everybody knows everyone has got this little hacker inside of us.
Ooh. Everyone has a little hacker inside of us. That's a good, everyone, the little hacker inside of us. The hacker inside us all. The hacker's heart. That's it. That borders on cheesy. Hacker. Bring out your hacker. Like if you've seen Monty Python, bring out your dead. Bring out your hacker.
Yeah.
Man, too bad we don't have an audience yet. We would ask them. But you can't have an audience without the name, so it's a catch-22. What is a hacker? Damn. Well, should we postpone the question to the next? Get more feedback, or?
No, I still think we should come up with a short list of 3.
Okay.
And I think I will just post it all over internet and send to the email list and just see what.
Yeah. Okay.
What kind of response we get.
Yeah,
like
I don't have.
We don't have an audience here in the podcast yet, but we do have an audience.
You do. I don't have an audience yet, so hopefully I can piggyback a little bit off your audience as we build our own. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Well, then let's pick 3. A hacker called. That's definitely up there. The hacker space. Our hacker space. I don't know. I think the only one we have so far is a hacker called.
Well, I mean, there's no harm in putting up to orders, even if we don't like them that much.
Yeah. There's an advertising word for that where you put anchoring. So if we anchor them to the like, you know, when you're selling something, you have, there's the cheap version for $5, and then there's the pro version for $1 million, but the middle is only $2,000. So of course that's the one you want. You're anchoring them to the higher price. Hackers helping hackers. Hackers interviewing other hackers. That's very literal. I don't know. I mean, maybe let's just do a hacker called and move on and start the show.
Let's just do that.
Okay. All right. Okay. We came up with a name, a hacker called. The only question now is if the 3 dots stay, which Yeah, I mean, how important is the 3 dots to the name?
It's not important in a URL,
Right.
but in in any logo or any title somewhere, I think it's good.
Okay. Well, drinking about. How do we do that? I actually designed the logo. I forget if there's dots in that or not. Oh yeah, there is. So the logo is drinking about ... And then it has the byline, which is oh, I gave away all my stickers. Oh, yeah, in vino veritas, which is the old saying.
Yes.
In
alcohol
is truth.
The honest is in, yeah.
So maybe we could come up with a cool Latin phrase. That's the byline. I don't know. Okay, so I'll see if I can get a domain, and we'll publish and start promoting from.
So there. That is like Vera Hakinos.
Hakinos.
No, yeah, but it has to be with U, because Latin is with either with us or with O on the end. So, but O is multiple. So like ver means man, and Hakinos of course doesn't exist, but that's like the hacker man. Or Hakinos, but then it's the Hakinos is a little bit like Latinos. That's also
yeah. Well, it means little hackers. Oh, so you mean like the Latin for little hackers? Oh, yeah. We can come up with the Latin. Oh, we'll just translate. Google Translate. What is little hacker in Latin?
I forgot the word for little.
I took Latin, but I
yeah, me too.
Enough to remember the rules, but in other words.
I had Latin and Greek for 3 years, but then I was 13. I mean, it's quite some time ago, and I didn't study medicine, so it's kind of gone.
Actually, I studied postmodernism, and I took a Latin class, but since it was an early morning class 5 days a week, I actually only lasted like a month or two.
No, for me it was just high school. I mean,
oh wow.
I did well when I went to high school, and they decided to throw me in the highest category. And then I came in a period of my life that I didn't really do my best. So after 2.5 years or something, I kind of dropped out and went totally down the road, and then actually still went going to school till I was like 48 or something.
Oh.
So I did a lot of, I mean, but the thing is, like, when you drop out of school and then later when you go back, I went back to adult education. The great thing about that is that you actually choose what you want to do. Like before that, like you have to go to school. There's no choice really. Yeah. But when you go to adult education, it's like you consciously choosing to go to school, and you choose what you want to learn. So I think you're much more motivated when you do that. Even though it's full time in that time. I mean, I loved what I was doing, and I loved the people around me. Like when I think I was 16 when I went to adult education, and I was the youngest. But the point was, like, there were all adults around me, and people who treated me like an adult. And I mean, there are no bullies, and there are no weird stuff. I mean, people support each other. It was heaven compared to high school.
Yeah, if I could go back in time, I would get my GED and graduate high school at 16 and go straight to college. Because I felt like the last couple of years in high school were just a waste of time. I was just spinning my wheels. That's so awesome that you did that. Although it sounds like maybe the circumstances weren't ideal to do that, or?
I think it was just one of my So first of all, I was already not doing really well in high school. Like I had this really tough program, which was probably a little bit over the top. I mean, I should be able to do it, but I wasn't really going through a good period of my life, let's say, and I didn't get a lot of support at home. So then when I met one of my good friends from 1 year before at high school, and he said, "Well, I'm going to this adult education. The rules are very simple. You can come and go whatever you want. If you don't show up for more than half a year, you're out."
Oh,
That sounds fair.
that sounds awesome.
And then I signed up and I got in and I chose a seat in the front of the class. I was there all the time. I never did any homework, and I passed with only I don't know, like we call it 9s and 8s, but it's like whatever A's and A minuses or B plus. I don't know how you call it in order.
Like an A. So like 10 is the highest grade you could get?
Yeah, 10 is the highest.
Wow. So cool. Other than all the other stuff going on in your life at the time, that sounds pretty ideal.
Yeah, but it was still a very common like high school level education, so it's not a college or anything. So after that, I still had to do other things. But after that, I actually started my first company. So
wow.
I went doing my first company just basically on a high school education, and then later in life, I did business administration and watchmaking and neurolinguistic programming for several years and what more. So all the things that really bring you deeper in a certain direction, that came much later in my life.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think I do regret going to college because just because I'm still paying it off. You know, I didn't get any marketable skills. I got really smart, I feel, because I got liberal arts. So I learned a little bit about a lot of stuff in it, and I'm still constantly like a voracious learner. I don't know how much that was college. But you know, like if it was free, I would be in school for my whole life. Like, and you know, I became a teacher, and then on a teacher's salary, you can't pay your student loans, ironically. So that's kind of my biggest regret is college. I would, you know, if I could go back in time again, drop out of high school, go to college earlier, but go to like a cheaper college and then transfer to a college with some name on it, so I could just meet the rich people or meet the people doing interesting things, and then drop out of that bigger college so I wouldn't have to pay for it.
I still think I mean, I'm quite sure that you're able to teach and get paid decently for it. And I mean, I have seen so many people rise to the occasion, especially when COVID happened and they started to teach from home and just charge people a little bit and grow their tribe and then charge a little bit more. I mean, I know one woman who started with a training selling for $57, and now she is like $4,000 per hour if you want to hire her.
Oh, wow.
And of course, most of what she does is based in groups, so a lot of times you don't have to pay that money. I remember paying her like $995 for a 5-week group training, but it resulted for me in having a 5-day training online, including all the marketing, what I need to do, and the follow-up. So she's really good. Now, of course, she already used to be a teacher or trainer before she did that. But the point is, like, she's got a skill and she just put it online, very cheap. to grow Tribe. And then, well, the Tribe grew, put the prices up. And I think her Facebook group has like 32,000 people in it now. The free community group. And I constantly refer people to her if people want to get a foot between the door for become an online trainer.
Was that what she teaches? How to train online?
She does entrepreneurial stuff, so it can be training. It can also be like get $5,000 in 5 days.
Oh,
and
okay.
Because it's fairly simple, an action plan. So in day one, you start determining your skill, and on day two, you start to determine your audience and things like that.
Oh.
And if you just do the work, like in a boot camp, and you just go out and call the shit out of everyone and meet people and talk, then you have, let's say, either 5 people who pay you a grant, or you have 500 people who pay less, but you got that 5K in your pocket. I think a lot of times it is that you pre-sell something, but that's fine as long as you deliver and people are happy.
And you did this and you got the 5,000?
I have the program. I didn't do the program because I was already starting to prepare for the accelerator program, what we just launched now. So we just launched our accelerator last Sunday.
Nice.
We got 6 people inside, which is not a lot, but so I'm not the founder of this, but the founder ran this program 2 years ago. They got 10 people inside, but I raised the price like 9 times because I thought he really undersold the program. It is the same story. Like the first time when they did it, they sold it for a really ridiculously low price, and I said, well, I think you're at the risk of people don't trusting the program because of how cheap you're selling it. It's like, and like if you go to college and you would, or for an MBA or anything else, I mean, you pay a lot of money, and we're maybe 1/10 or 1/20 of that, and he was selling it even like 10 times cheaper than what we're doing now. So I mean, I proposed this, we agreed. First we did a thing like, okay, we will give you the money back when you graduate. So we wanted to motivate people to actually do the work, but also again, people didn't understand the offer. It can devaluate it. So when we deleted this, like just pay us the money, we got clients.
Oh yeah, wow. Well, sounds like you're a pretty smart marketer.
Well, I don't know, but I have spent, so first of all, I did 3 years neuro-linguistic programming, which is basically college level communication skills.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did that 20, 30 years ago when I was in a bad marriage and I wanted to save my marriage, and I thought, well, what if I learned to communicate? Well, maybe that helps. And it does help, but it doesn't help if you're part of the equation. Like, I mean, if it's like...
Oh, I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I'm laughing because I've been married too, and it's complicated.
Yes. I had that baggage already with me, and then in the last 2 years or 3 years, I tried to bring a program to market, and at first my own program didn't get to market for various reasons, and when I finally got it to the level that we got people, I sold like 3 seats in that program, and I thought, well, 3 seats is not enough to finance it, we need more. So then I invested a substantial amount of money on marketing trainings. So I purchased a sales training a few years ago, and then later I purchased a marketing training, and both I paid $6K US.
Wow.
And one of the reasons why I decided to invest the money. It's not only that I did my research and I trusted the seller, but I also had this like, I want people eventually to pay that amount of money to me. And if I'm not willing to pay that to anybody else, then I'm building this subconscious belief that people don't pay 3K or 6K or 12K for a training because I'm not doing it. So that it becomes your subconscious truth. Well, if you by yourself invest that money, then you know people do pay that money because I did. And you don't even think about it, it's a subconscious. And if you're convinced that people pay, then it's much easier to sell.
Right. So you sort of applied NLP on yourself.
Yep.
And that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I've taken a bunch of free advertising things, and I'm not an advertiser. Maybe that's why.
I think there's nothing wrong with free content, and it really depends on where you get it. I mean,
right.
I mean, I've given a lot of free content in my life, either because of just wanting to help people or as a means to build trust and authority. And I think most of the free giveaways happened in the time before I had anything, before I had a business model. Oh. And the things like we got so many people over the floor in the makerspace, in the hackerspace, like physically before COVID happened, that I didn't have time to think about the business model. I was so just busy with running the thing.
Yeah.
And then you want to grow that because you know that if you want to do anything in the future, you need to have a tribe. So I kept throwing in a lot of fun stuff, which was really valuable. And everyone had a great time. So, and it's really good to do that. Like if you have the luxury to do that, then I think it's an amazing way to build a tribe because people, I mean, the downside is that people that kind of take it for granted and they never think about investing financially in that after that. But the positive side is that there is a percentage of people that actually returns favors. And sometimes these favors are much more valuable than anything you would have got if they would pay money. So, like I said, I mean, if you have the luxury situation that you can do it, it's a great way to build a tribe, and then you can think about monetization later. Although for anybody that actually just wants to get an income, I would not suggest to do that because it's a long road and you don't know where it ends. But so if you really want to earn money, I mean, I've got a couple of programs on the shelf which you can. I mean, before the next show, you can have a couple of grand in your pocket if you want.
That would be very cool. Yeah, I'm in. So you spent all this time building a community, and now you're sort of sitting with like what it meant to join this community, and now you're trying to figure out, well, now I need to make money, not necessarily from the community, but like you're sort of saying like that was fun. Now now you want to sort of improve that, but with money. Is what I'm hearing, or?
So what happened? Like between 2016 and 2019, we had received roughly like 16,000 people at Troublemaker, just like the majority just passing by.
Yeah, one of those was me.
and for sure, thousands of people stayed a little bit longer, and everybody that got in my WeChat or anywhere else, they kept not everybody, I'm generalizing, of course, but
Right.
a lot of them asked questions and asked for referrals and asked other things, and I answered that. And the more people passed by, the more people asked questions. So I was full-time busy providing services. And for them, it was just like, okay, I just asked you one little thing
Right.
on WeChat. Yeah, but you're one of the few hundred who is doing that.
Exactly.
I'm just all day just answering questions, and I'm not getting anything for that. And
Yeah.
it's not sustainable for my family, and we need to do something. So eventually I came up with a membership, launched a membership, and that worked okay. The thing is, like, I didn't have time to actually do. I mean, I didn't have a clue how to run a membership, and I didn't really have
Oh,
time
interesting.
to come up with a model that added value to people. So I sold a membership, and then it didn't really add value. So from that,
Interesting.
I still have 4 members left over. And I'm
Oh.
talking about 2019. There are 2 people who were in the first 10 who are still a member. They pay $65 a month.
Wow.
And there are 2 who were a little bit later. They pay $84 a month. And so that's like, I got $300 recurring revenue since 2019. Of course, it used to be much more. But a lot of them, they dropped out. But eventually people started to pay 169 US, because that was what the membership was valued. And that was based on, like, if you come to our makerspace, in our co-work space, if you would want to rent a desk in the co-work space, it would cost at that time, converted from RMB to USD, 169 US dollar. And then you have a desk in a space for 1 month. And that's what you got. You got a desk in a space,
Yeah.
nothing more. So it's up to you to then mingle with the people and extract the value. And I said, well, I mean, if I give you that desk virtually, and I connect you to anyone you want, and we throw in some events and whatever, I can potentially add much more value to you than just having a physical desk in a space. And if I can give you more value, then at least it should be the same price. Why should I ask less if I add more value? And of course, at first I asked less because I had to launch it. So they were like founding members. But then when time went on, like half a year later, we went to the full price. And even a couple of months, I still had, it was before the war, but we had a team from the Ukraine who signed up for a 3-month membership because they needed help. And I mean, a lot of times what I do is I help them at least 1 time, sometimes 2 times. And when they come back, then I said, well, yeah, I can help you. Would you consider becoming a member? And by that time, they know that I'm adding value because I already helped them 1 or 2 times. And they also start to feel like, okay, yeah, maybe I should pay something for that. And then sometimes they don't. And then if they don't want to become a member, then I think, well, that's fine. But I mean, then why should I keep supporting you if you don't want to do anything in return? And the others that do, they help pay the bills. I mean, it's not a huge thing, but it works.
Yeah.
And I feel that you have so much knowledge and experience. I mean, every one of us, of course, has, and you have your own. And the thing is really like just figuring out what is it, what you have that is valuable to others, and then who wants to buy that, and then package it in a way that it's sellable. And I think I can help you with that.
Well, I mean, that's kind of been my life journey. I'm interested in. I feel it's not a lack. Honestly, it might sound like bragging, but I feel like I'm very good at so many different things that I can't just focus on one. So I've tried a bunch of different things, and I don't know. I've even taken a course to focus on your why, and I picked one and it was good, but I don't know. I mean, it was to help people reach their full creative potential. And I was really excited about that, and now I'm like, I mean, kinda, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad way to live. But it's it's one path I could take. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the question we ask founders is like, if this is the thing you have to do for the next 5 or 10 years of your life, would you be doing it? Because
I mean, that's one thing I could be happy doing. I mean, I don't know. It's just really hard for me to focus on one thing. I've always got 100 projects going. So I mean, I've sort of recently put them in one ball of wax, and that's creativity and hackerspaces.
right.
And so that's sort of what I'm pointing myself at right now. But as far as like turning it into vacation, I mean, I'm trying to, but I don't know. That's part of what this podcast is.
Yes.
Because I've always wanted to have a podcast as well. So I don't know.
I think in what you see, but it still comes back to the same thing. Like people who start a YouTube channel or who share, like people are like building Lego structures on YouTube, and earn money with it. It can be fairly simple in that regard. But the thing is that none of them earn money unless they stick to something for a certain amount of time, right, and do it good. If you look at coaches, I think there is a way to have people pay you money for helping them ahead with, I mean, the limitations they feel.
Yeah.
And that can be quite diverse. I mean, it can have a theme, but it doesn't have to be a subject, right? Like if somebody is a mindset coach, for example, of course that you need to be, I mean, if you really want to call yourself a coach, I think you should be qualified. But like if you're like a, I don't want to say a hacker coach, but if there are people who see you as that authority figure, and I think that's the key thing here. It's like, no matter what you want to show of yourself, things like, are you able to portray yourself as an authority figure in that space? Because as soon as you're able to get authority, you're able to get some money, or a lot of money sometimes.
Well, I mean, I've been authoritative because I've taught classes, and you're sort of set up there, and you're the expert. Although I do like to say that learning and teaching is collaborative. So, I feel like I learn more when I'm teaching. And that's kind of sort of how I got into it, is because I just love learning. And so teaching was feeding my learning habit. But yeah, I like what you're saying there. It's a little off topic, I think, maybe. Stuff I'm definitely interested in. So I don't know. Maybe we'll just end it there. This is our first 2 episodes. We got a name, A Hacker Called, and then I'll set up a YouTube. So next time, maybe a Twitch and a Zimzam and a What's It and Who's It, so we can start broadcasting next time. And then maybe I'll talk to you offline if you have time about this getting $5,000 in 5 days. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And maybe we can advertise for that, and you can be our first sponsor. Cool. Okay. So maybe we should come up with a sign off. We'll have a graphic here. Awesome logo, and a hacker called, and yeah, I don't know, maybe a catchphrase. Oh, well, we could use a Mitch sort of, I don't know if he invented it or pass it on, but be awesome to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have something will always say, well, that's the news from Lake Wobegon, my hometown, where all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the children are above average. Something like that.
Yeah, I used to sign off with 3, not sentences, but like remember to have fun. Yeah, so remember to, and then like have fun. Something more, I forgot. And then the third one was live without regret.
Live without regret. I like that. How about make something, break something, and learn something? That just popped into my head. Because that's what makers do. Make something. Remember to make something, break something, and teach something. I don't know. to be determined.
Yeah, I like learn more than teach in this sentence.
Okay.
Because I think it's more natural. Make something, break something, and learn something. Like teach it can have a little bit of a negative connotation, like I'm teaching you a lesson.
Oh yeah, I'll teach you.
Yeah. So I think learning is more positive in this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so for now, thank you all for joining, and remember to make something, break something, and learn something.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. Talk to you later.
Cheers, buddy.
Cool. Bye.